Have you often wondered what Kody Brown is like when the cameras aren't on in his everyday life?
I can only imagine.
Generally speaking, we can all agree the outside world gets the best of us. We save our dark sides for our immediate family members. Why? Because it's a safe environment. I'm sorry to use the word safe, but here it's appropriate. So I've always wanted to just know, what is he like to the average Joe on the street? Well, we got a glimpse into that. I found an interview just recently with a gal who Kody didn't know and who approached him when she saw him hanging out also poolside at a hotel, guess where? Vegas, with Robin. The person that I'm talking about is Liz Phillips. Before we begin, let's give a little bit of background. This is what Liz says about how her family is familiar with Kody Brown.
Kody, he is the same age as a lot of my older siblings. So I am 9 of 10, and so I'm one of the younger ones. But my mom loved teenagers and young adults, and we had a 1-acre property, and we had a volleyball net and a basketball court, and she would have teenagers and young adults at her house all the time. She was like the party house for polygamists, for poly kids. And they would come over and have volleyball games and sit and chat. My mom was very, very social. She loved talking to people. So her kids would invite their friends over, and he would come over to our house quite often. So he knew my mom and my dad growing up. And my sister and her husband worked with Kody. So my sister and her husband owned I think a construction company. Nope, it was an excavation company. So they had a lot of big machinery.
Liz Phillips also happens to be Rulon Allred's granddaughter. Who else is Rulon Allred's granddaughter? All right, Christine. Christine Brown is Rulon Allred's granddaughter. And just to remind you, Rulon Allred is the founder of this AUB faith. So Christine and Liz are like best buddies, right? Because they're cousins. There's so many in that family. I didn't get the impression that she even met Christine in person ever. So they don't know each other. But that wasn't what the video was about. It wasn't about Christine. It was about the fact that Liz and her friend were in Vegas hanging out at a pool, and her friend noticed Kody and Robin sitting there. Now she's going to kind of blend together a little bit of her background into the story of her coming upon Kody Brown out in the wild. Let's listen.
I was on a couple's vacation with another mainstream LDS couple. It was my husband and I and this other couple, and we're in Vegas, and we're at a pool, and Kody and Robin are at the pool. I know who they are because of who I grew up, but I wasn't going to go say anything. The woman, the wife that I was with, was a fangirling over Kody and Robin, and she was freaking out. She was like, "Oh, Liz, it's Kody and Robin, and oh my gosh, I want to go say hi to them. I want to go take a picture of them. What do you think?" And I was like, "I don't know. Let me call my sister, who has worked specifically with Kody, and just kind of see what the story is." And my sister said, yeah, he'll know exactly who you are. He knows who our mom and dad are. He actually had driven one of the huge machinery pieces into a ditch while he was working for my husband, and we had to get a crane, and it was this whole thing, and it was this big production. So he's absolutely going to know who my husband is and who I am. And so if you just want to introduce yourself and tell them who your mom and dad is and who I am, and then I'm sure he'll want to talk to you. And I was like, okay, I can do that. So I take the fangirl over with me, and we go over to meet Kody and Robin. And I said, hey, Kody, I'm Liz. My mom is Rhoda and Lynn. I think that you've been to our house a lot of times, and I think you worked with my sister and her husband. And he goes, Rhoda. Yeah, I think that kind of sounds familiar. Oh, okay. And then I said, okay, well, I think you worked for my brother-in-law and my sister. And he goes, oh, Graydon. Yeah, I think I can kind of remember them.
Can I just point out that the names Rhoda and Graydon, not that popular. We're not talking about Jimmy, Matthew, Tom, Todd, Bob, Rhoda, and Graydon.
How could you forget that?
I don't get his angle on this attitude, but really makes him look like a jerk.
It took me aback, like, wait a minute. From what it sounds like, you should know these people. In our community, the AUB is very small. And just a reminder, my mom came straight from rural and Allred. Like, people knew my mother in that community. People knew my dad. So it was a very weird way to react.
Liz herself, not knowing Kody personally, called her sister, who did. Because her sister and her sister's husband owned this excavating company. Kody worked for them. He was one of their employees. Kody likes big trucks. Anything to show himself as the man. Well, not only did Kody work for them, and yes, you may not remember all the employees you work with, but certainly going to remember your boss.
No?
But Kody also, while working for them, ran his excavator into a ditch. And it was a big deal to go about dragging this thing back out again. One of those events in your life that you just don't forget.
One would think.
Oh, and not to mention it, he spent many times at Liz's mother's house. He knows Liz's sister, Liz's sister's husband, and Liz's parents, where he would go hang out. Worked one place, socialized at the other place. Are you trying to act cool?
Not cool!
Or are you dumb?
So dumb.
Trying to think if there's another option here, but I can't think of one. However, I would argue that not remembering somebody is not cool. Not like he's so big now he can't remember the peons. That's rude, annoying, and arrogant. Not attractive. Not the man. Okay, let's go on. Oh, wait a second. I just thought about this. I wonder if he thought they were hitting on him, because we're talking Kody Brown. Kody had his six-pack abs on display poolside. I bet that's it. All right, let's go on.
And I was like, okay, well, I just came up to say hi, and I've got my friend here, and she loves your show, and she was wondering if she could maybe take a picture with you. Oh, no, says Kody. No, he starts covering Robin up. We don't want any pictures of us out there with Robin like that. That is inappropriate. We're not going to be, we definitely don't feel comfortable. Okay, well, thank you. And I was like, well, it was nice to meet you, and I guess we'll talk later.
He wouldn't take a photo. Let's just try to give him the benefit of the doubt here and say Robin is sitting there in a bathing suit. And she's worried about it getting out on social media. People making fun of her. Fair enough. Yet Kody doesn't think about the fact they can go back to their seats and just pretend like they're scrolling on their phone and be taking pictures of them across from the pool. Anybody can take a picture of them at any time. In fact, he has the most control by saying, yeah, let's just do a selfie if you don't mind. We just want to do from the head up because I'm not wearing something and we're trying to be conservative in that. She just got finished saying she's from the AUB faith. She would get it. She would understand it. Smile, take a picture, 2 seconds, tell her friend, I appreciate your loyalty to our show. And then whether he remembered her parents and her sister or not, could say, give my best to your mom and sister next time you see them. That's it.
It's grown-up stuff. You wouldn't understand.
Even if he truly didn't remember them, which I don't believe, I think he knew exactly who they were. The man does not have the ability to be gracious. The man does not have the ability to look outside himself and see how somebody else might be viewing this interaction right now.
Can't do it.
And because of that, now it's on social media, and here we are. If he would have just taken a picture, if I would have been strolling through and somebody said, hey, I just saw this on Facebook, and it was a selfie of 2 girls with Robin and Kody poolside somewhere, don't care. Don't care at all. But now he made it a big deal by being an absolute doofus. Trying my best to keep this clean.
I mean, it was just such a, I called my sister after and I said, he acted like he had no idea who we were. And she goes, that is completely untrue. He worked for my husband for years. He's been to our house multiple times. And I have talked to a couple different people from the AUB that I've reconnected with, and they all have not very favorable stories of Kody. He seemed, he felt that he was hot stuff.
So the sister doubles down when she calls back and says, there's no way he doesn't remember us. He worked for us for years. And she adds that he's been to their house multiple times as well. So he has gone to this Liz's parents' house multiple times. Rhoda. Doesn't ring a bell. And now his boss of multiple years also invited him to his house socially to come over as well. What's his name again? No. I mean, maybe. It's really very disappointing, but I have to say not surprising. Liz goes on to say that she had this obviously not so great experience with Kody, but she has other friends in the AUB that have shared similar experiences. Apparently, he's not nice to a lot of people.
He seemed, he felt that he was hot stuff. So once a month at the AUB, they have dances, and they're so fun. I highly recommend dances. I missed the dances from the AUB, and he would come in very high and mighty and would actually walk in front of other men and be like, oh, you don't want to dance with him. You probably want to dance with me. And he would snap up like the really cute girls.
We know what we see when he's aware that the cameras are all there. So in his off time, you're going to get somebody who's even more self-absorbed. He thinks he's all that and a box of chocolates too. I don't get it. It's just really funny. I guess that is, in society we throw the term narcissism and narcissistic around way more than we need to. But let me just say, not diagnosing them as anything, but when you look at the criteria for narcissistic behaviors, we'll say, does he check off many of the boxes. He delusionally feels like women all want him. I'm sorry, I can't keep a straight face. I don't get it. I don't get it. In his defense, I think he's had a decent amount of women who have kind of been interested here and there, so it's not like he's completely delusional. Nobody's ever been interested and he thinks he's all that. He did manage to acquire 4 wives and date a couple other people in there as well. But to come forward with that kind of forceful, I'm so great behavior, I just want to tell him, you're not all that. Now, maybe he wouldn't take a picture with her because he does his cameos now. Rumor has it he charges $100. I don't think I'd even pay $25, but apparently there are some. Now, I know a lot of people do it as a joke, but that's just a lot of money for a joke. So count me out on the cameo thing. I really appreciated this interview because the interviewer just let Liz talk. I found this on a site. It's called, what's it called? Mormon Book Reviews. I'm going to put the link in the description down below. A little peek behind the curtain. What is Kody like when he's not on camera? The same. Or worse. I would say if he was on camera and somebody approached him and said, can I take a picture with you? He would say, okay. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time with a new topic.